Well, there. Happy holidays, folks. Merry Christmas and happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatnot. And very exciting time of year for everybody. It's Christmas Eve today. And, I was kind of assigned to get some groceries. And just going into the place for groceries is just a madhouse. Every asshole is trying to get those last minute groceries for the family for tomorrow, and this Christmas taking place on a Saturday is really, if you had some type of errand or some type of thing you had to get done, I hope you got it done today because everything's going to be just shut down and hard to accomplish anything on a Saturday, Sunday, or a Monday because everyone's going to get the day off, which is great. Everyone deserves it. We've all been through a lot, but I hope you got your whatever you needed accomplished because tomorrow and so forth, it's all on lockdown. It's Christmas time in America and the world. Now, as far as this American Underdog, the first thing I'll say is yes, I did enjoy the film. I enjoyed the movie. This is it's always good to see Dennis Quaid in a film. Now, just a half a generation ago, Dennis Quaid would be playing Red Rocket was okay. That was my initial plan to see that tonight, Peter. Please, no spoilers, buddy. I will see Red Rocket, but I could not see it tonight. The time, I guess I could have if I wanted to wait till 7:20. But for me, folks, I have this thing where if I get to a movie theater, I kind of want to see the movie that's playing like as soon as I get there. I don't like to sit around the movie theater and wait. Like I have this weird thing about time. It irritates me to waste a minute. So I can't just sit in the movie house and wait for a movie to start in 25 minutes when there's another movie starting right away. So that's why I did not see Red Rocket tonight as earlier planned. I incorporated the grocery shopping into my schedule and so forth. I went to see American Underdog. A generation ago, Dennis Quaid would be playing the gunslinging quarterback of Kurt Warner. But Dennis is now playing the coach, I guess, Dick Vermeil of the St. Louis Rams, 1999. So interesting how history changes, folks. I believe they're now the Los Angeles Rams again. So they were only the St. Louis Rams for what, 5 or 6 years or 10 years or something like that. But they did win a Super Bowl. I think the year after they won it, didn't they lose to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, which started that whole deal? And apparently, Kurt went to another Super Bowl with did it say the Cardinals at the end in 2011 or some such thing, or 2009? And I'm assuming he lost because they didn't say that he won other Super Bowls. But Kurt Warner was put in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now you might be wondering, well, gee whiz, Mike, you lost me. What's this movie about? This movie is about the life of Kurt Warner from a certain period of time. Basically, his senior year of college, he was in a Division I school. He was sitting on the bench. He's got a fight to even be the starting quarterback. And then he meets this woman. She's very attractive, but she has a little secret. She has two children from a previous relationship. Hi, Jimmy Thunder from Down Under. I'm doing good, buddy, and Merry Christmas to you. If you're in Australia, tie me kangaroo down, mate. Tie me motherfucking kangaroo down. That's all I have to say. I mean, that's what I always think of Australia. Of course, Outback Jack, Panama Jack, Crocodile Dundee, Linda Hogan, all these people. Or who was Paul Hogan's wife? The woman in the fucking Crocodile Dundee movies, very attractive. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Good to have you here, buddy. New Zealand. Yes, okay. Well, very good. New Zealand. The New Zealand sheep herders, Luke and Butch, Rip Morgan, Jonathan Boyd. It's just wrestlers from New Zealand, buddy. That's all I got for you with my New Zealand references. New Zealand Militia, which was Rip Morgan and Jack Victory in 1989, managed by Lord Littlebrook. That's a little pro wrestling trivia for you, Jimmy, from New Zealand. Okay, so let's get back to this movie. I enjoyed this movie. It'll bring a tear to your eye. It's hey, birthday brother Mike Newell, December 5th. This movie will bring a tear to your eye. It really will. The romance of Kurt and this woman, this lady who becomes his wife, Brenda. She's a military lady. She has this sob story of her first husband ditching out on her, and blah blah blah. And oh yeah, saw me on Angelo's show. Thank you very much. That was Wrestling with the Future last night, and I'm actually on a lot of back episodes of Wrestling with the Future. Mike Williams and Vince Russo, Angelo and myself was probably my best episode, my favorite episode. The Paul is Dead conspiracy theorist, Mike Williams. He's not the only one, but that's a good episode of Wrestling with the Future. Thanks for checking in, Jimmy. I appreciate it, buddy. And thanks for the cross reference. So this movie is really good. You know what I mean? It does have these Christian themes, which is appropriate because it's Christmas time. I know some people get kind of tweaked out if they go see a movie and there's God mentioned and Jesus and all that stuff. It's kind of on the low key on this one, meaning that just the characters, they don't get too down far the rabbit hole of that religion or Christianity, but it is a theme, and apparently a theme in Kurt Warner's life and Brenda and their children. So it's now this, I told you a couple of days ago, I saw National Champions, another football movie. That's a great movie, but it has very little actual football play in it. This movie is quite different. This movie actually has quite a bit of football sequences along with the family story. So you can take your girl to this movie if you have one and she doesn't like football. She might like romance, and you can, share a bucket of popcorn. And, you don't want to do that thing that they did in the movie Diner back in 1981 with Mickey Rourke. But in any event, I do think it's a good movie. Now, I did want to go back to The Matrix Resurrections, which I saw just 2 days ago. And for whatever reason, I did not do a Mike's Instant Movie review. Perhaps in The Matrix I did, but in this reality I didn't. And I've been trying to wrap my head around this movie. My buddy Joe Cronin of the Joe Cronin Show, he had some thoughts on it, and his thoughts have maybe been similar to mine. I mean, I think I actually liked the movie a little bit more than Joe, but Joe did make some points that the movie had some special effects that were not very good. They looked very cheesy. They looked very straight to video. And you might be thinking, how can that be possible? This is such an expensive movie. Well, there was some moments in this movie, The Matrix, that did seem a little like just weird camera effects that looked out of place. They looked, maybe they're trying to go retro to like the late 90s. That's possible. This Carrie Ann Moss, is that her name? I just kind of forgot about how gorgeous this woman was. I mean, I don't know what she's been doing her whole life or her career or anything. Really interesting character. Trinity is in this thing. Keanu Reeves, nice to see him in this thing. I mean, I think Keanu's performance in this new Matrix movie is outstanding. I think he does it with class. He's got a sense of humor. Okay, so let's go down this rabbit hole of The Matrix. What did I like? What did I not like? What I liked was that it was a very, in my opinion, for Matrix fans, it's very welcoming. You know what I mean? And if you're a fan of all the Matrixes, guess what? I think I saw the first Matrix. I remember walking out on like Matrix 2 or 3 when they came out, because they seemed very disappointing. And I didn't like 2 or 3 of the Matrixes of the 2013 era. You can keep your comments coming if you like. I didn't like the Matrix 2 or 3. So in this movie, Matrix Resurrections, there's a lot of references. There's a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of characters. Hey, Jake. Jake was on the show last night with Wrestling with the Future. Good to see you here, Jake. There was a lot of things last night. There was a lot of things in Matrix Resurrections that if you were a Matrix hardcore fan, you would know all these things, like all these characters. The Jada Pinkett Smith character, I didn't remember that, to be honest with you. I didn't remember a lot of stuff because I didn't see 2 or 3. I'm just kind of lost. So there are probably people that enjoy this movie even more than I did if they saw the Matrix 2 and 3. But I just saw, Matrix 1, and I saw Matrix 1, the original, about a week ago because they resurrected the first one, so to speak, on IMAX. So I felt good about seeing this Matrix Resurrections. I did enjoy it. Now, here's my complaint. Are you ready? My complaint is it can be summed up like this: 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. It's like you're going along with this Matrix movie, and I don't even have to give specifics, but you'll get the idea. Something's happening, and then it's like, oh no, that was just a dream. I was just dreaming all that stuff was happening, but now I'm in real reality. And then you go on for a few minutes, something's happening. Oh no, that was just a movie. I was just in a movie. That wasn't really happening. Oh, this is happening. Oh no, that wasn't happening either. That was just a video game. That was just the Matrix. That was just a flashback. That was just a mind fuck. So the point is, we've seen this with movies for a long time. I mean, I think there was a French movie. Help me out, Mike, if you remember. And thanks. Happy holidays to you, Jake. Stick around, buddy. Yeah, I'm not watching SmackDown, Michael, AJ. I went to the movies, buddy. I'm doing good, Jake. Today was very exciting. I went to buy groceries. The Walmart was packed full of people, and nobody sneezed on me. I found myself in a checkout lane. It was moving very slow. I turned around. I knocked some stuff down. The lady, the lady behind me in line, like swooped in to clean up my mess. And I said, leave it, leave it, leave it. I mean, I didn't want someone else cleaning up my mess. I just wanted to run. I haven't seen it yet, AJ. I will go see that Nightmare Alley. And I got to another line, and it turns out I made the right move, because the line that I left, like, people were buying like their year's supply of crap. And I'm like, this is Christmas Eve. You don't buy all that stuff on Christmas Eve. You know what I mean? You buy a few things. So I luckily changed. I always feel like when I'm in a cash register situation with all these different lines, I feel like you're betting on the horse. Like, what horse is going to be quickest? And, the cash register people, they're obviously not horses. They're human beings. But in those moments where I'm trying to decide where am I going to check out of the store, I feel like I'm betting on a horse. Like, who's the fastest horse amongst these cash register people? Jake is referencing the Wrestling with the Future podcast that he, myself, Angelo, of course, and our buddy Javier, great show last night. It was, Jake. Thank you, buddy. So I have not seen Nightmare Alley. I will go see it. And thanks, Jimmy. I appreciate it, buddy. And like I said, I did a lot of those Wrestling with the Futures, going back to the original. I think I was the first ever guest on that show, that podcast with Angelo and our buddy. Unfortunately, Jeff the Ref passed away, one of the originators of the show. But in any event, going back to the Matrix, 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. Every time you turn around this fucking movie, what you just saw for 5 or 10 minutes, oh, that was just an illusion. That was just the Matrix. You can do that once or twice in a fucking movie. Like if you ever watch Gilligan's Island and they have the dream sequence and then they wake up out of it. But after a while, if you did that for the whole goddamn run of the series, how is the audience supposed to trust what you're doing? And that's where I think the Matrix is 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. You can't basically say that everything you just watched was not happening and just an illusion or just a dream or just a fantasy or just a mind fuck. You can't do that as much times as they did in this movie and get away with it, because the audience, you lose the trust of the audience. After a while, you're watching this thing, and if nothing's reality, and I get it, it's the fucking Matrix series, but after a while, people just tune out, because why should you get emotionally invested, even in a fictional narrative story, if what you're watching is not supposed to be consequential? It goes, wrestling reference, goes back to WCW 2000, 2001. Yes, I know my buddy Vince Russo was there, but still, when they have all these things like, oh, Tank Abbott's not going to do the job, or Kevin Nash is not going to do the job to Goldberg. If you're constantly breaking the rules of the narrative structure, which we've all accepted, then eventually the audience tunes out. You can only do that cute crap for so fucking long. And you know me, I'm a goddamn writer. And so I'm trying to write my books, A Distance from Avalon, When the Dying and the Dead Reunite, and so forth. And I just can't tolerate when people are poor writers, or they just get too cute with their goddamn writing. Now these Wachowskis, Lana Wachowski has all the money in the world for this Matrix movie, and to me, I liked it. I might even see it again. I might not, but to be honest with you, that's my pet peeve with this fucking movie. And you're welcome if you guys have seen it by now to chime in, to check in, to say what you thought of the Matrix. As far as Matrix, as far as American Underdog, a different story, a sweet story, a couple story. They don't really go through every single football game of that 1999 St. Louis Rams season, just so you know. It's more about what brought Kurt to that dance and really about the family story. The Kurt is the stepfather of the century. And, shout out to all the step parents out there. I mean, I have my views and my opinions. They might be, unpopular on situations where men are kind of presented with this opportunity to be a stepfather. I don't know if that would be particularly for me a thing that I'd want to engage in, but credit to Kurt for doing such and being a real hero to these kids, all his 7 children apparently at this point. So that's it, folks. It is Christmas Eve. I hope you have your milk and cookies out for Santa Claus. There was a funny thing a couple of years ago that Saturday Night Live skit of I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus with she's kind of my favorite. Is it Cicely Strong? I think she's my favorite modern day person there on the fucking show on SNL. And Scarlett Johansson, pretty damn funny. If you haven't seen that one, just look it up. I think it's the I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus SNL from maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Cicely Strong, Scarlett Johansson, and whoever else. But it's a good skit. I did do a podcast or a broadcast earlier today, and somebody asked me, I think it was Peter, what do you think of pro wrestlers turned actors? And then the show got cut off unexpectedly. So what do I think? Roddy Piper and They Live was great. 1988. I came here to I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. So that was great. What else? I mean, Beyond the Mat was more of a documentary. The Rock, The Rock's he's a great movie star. I don't know if he's a great actor, but he's a pretty damn good actor. And he's very likable. The Rock is very likable. Jesse Ventura had some good things in the Predator film and other things, Running Man. I think what's kind of appealing about wrestlers as movie actors is their big personalities, but also for the most part, these guys are used to taking their own stunts. They're used to things not being perfect. They're not as high maintenance as some other actors you might think. So that's good for wrestlers. And you can watch Chris and the Coffee Girl, the Philadelphia Experiment, which is we had episode 3 just premiered. Also on my channel here, folks. Yeah, Terry Funk, Paradise Alley. And he was on a show called Wild Side, I think, an ABC Western show. It was only on for 4 or 5 episodes, the whole show. Good one, Jimmy. Nice reference. I'm trying to think what else Terry Funk did. Actually, I heard some bad news that Terry's not doing so well these days. So, respects to Terry Funk. What a life he's had, huh? Desperado. I should say, Jimmy, just so you know, I witnessed Terry Funk challenging Hulk Hogan for the WWF title live and in person. I witnessed Terry Funk versus Ric Flair at the Baltimore Arena, 1989, pay-per-view Great American Bash. That's referenced, I believe. I have a Funk Flair 89 Bash, July 23rd video on here. And I also was there when Terry Funk won the ECW World title over Raven, as a matter of fact. So I've seen a lot of good stuff from Terry Funk in person, and I'm happy to say that, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. What else? So yeah, but I mean, look, have a great Christmas. Great if you're, I'm assuming that, if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine. Have a great Christmas anyway, or have a great non-Christmas. But have a great Christmas. Do whatever you're gonna do. Open your gifts. Send them back if you don't like them. Here's the thing, folks. I mean, it should go without saying, but never throw away a gift. If someone bought you something and it doesn't fit, or if you don't like it, just regift it. You know what I mean? If you have any gifts you want to regift, you can send them to me. I'll accept them. But I mean, always remember, someone took the time, they spent the money. It's the thought that counts. But just regift the bad gifts. Actually, that's what reminds me. Thanks, you too, bro. That reminds me of a fucking holiday I used to have up in Rhode Island. Haven't done it in 7 or 8 years, but it was with some people that I no longer associate with. But we used to have something. I made it up so I could just take it with me. You guys can use this too. Basically, like 3 days after Christmas, I would have a regift of us, which basically you can figure it out. It's like the regift of us was like after Christmas, you take whatever gift you got, but you didn't like, and you would bring it to the meeting place and you would regift it to somebody. And this was very fun. Regift of us. You might be thinking of Festivus on Seinfeld, but no, Regiftivus is better because there's gifts involved. And you take the gift that you don't want and you regift it to someone else, and someone else regifts to you. Mikey, Alberto Del Rio is burned in wrestling company. Now he wants to get Paige fired with claim video footage. Such a horrible individual, it seems like Alberto is. He hasn't given up the ghost of, I mean, this is just getting to be so unseemly. And to be honest with you, those two are just toxic together. Alberto Del Rio and Paige, really unseemly couple. And I guess they're no longer a couple, but just drama. And women, you should learn the lesson here, folks, women especially, but men too. If you involve yourself in a relationship with someone who's a psychopath or someone who's unstable or someone who doesn't treat you right, if you stick in that relationship, it doesn't go away right away. You know what I mean? Like you made your bed, you lie in it. And some of these weird relationships, you mix yourself up with the wrong people, and they're like a fungi on your system for the rest of your life. So I mean, yeah, I feel bad for Paige because of this Alberto Del Rio, if he's being mean to her, whatever he's doing. But at some point, if she had a brain in her fucking head 10 years ago, she wouldn't have pursued him in the first place, now would she? I mean, you know what I mean? And people say, oh, how can you fucking say that? Well, I just fucking did, okay? So what can I goddamn tell you? People are so goddamn stupid sometimes that when you point out their stupidity, they get offended because they feel that you're not sensitive to their goddamn needs. Well, your fucking need is to be more intelligent. So if you can't handle your goddamn shit, then what can I say? So Paige, sorry, but you chose the wrong guy to fuck for a while, and now you're paying the price for the rest of your life. I can't help you. I can only help my goddamn self. So anyway, on that happy note, folks, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all that wonderful stuff. Mike Messier, subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Fucking Christmas at the Soup Kitchen is now available. You can watch that. It's a funny little thing, and so on and so forth. So wonderful, wonderful. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.